Let me fix this real quick. Featuring Love Teddy Stuff Stuffins and Chunky Ham, my faves. Hi, I realize you can see the huge glare in my glasses. I guess I can also take off my glasses, but you're gonna be seeing me squint a lot. If it gets too bad, I'll just put on my glasses. How do we do it in the movies when they're like, and then their hair just like immediately just looks so beautiful? Let's get serious. It's been a hot minute. I'll be honest, I don't really know if this video will go up. I'm making this video more as just like a little, I guess, like journal entry for myself. The life isn't super sucky. But it is definitely hitting a point where I'm starting to get a lot more anxious. You know what? Chunky Ham, get over here. Let me catch you up on how life has been looking like for me. Again, if you don't already know, my name is Yami. I am now 21 years old. Because I want to say the last video I made, I was maybe 19. Which is crazy because now I'm a senior in college. Which is a lot to take in. I've been feeling really emotional lately, if I haven't already mentioned that. So if I get emotional in this, you know why. As of recording this, it's February 16th to 26 a.m., which is the best time to have a little existential crisis. But yeah, lately, especially like with this month, I've been feeling it a lot more. And I think that's solely because here comes the waterworks. We're gonna keep it back. I'm graduating soon, which is exciting, but is also very nerve-wracking. Backtrack. High school, senior year, I kind of had a mindset of, I'm graduating, yay, I know what I'm doing. I'm going straight to college right afterwards. I'm going, to my dream school. I'm gonna be a little away from home, but not really, like, I'll still be close. And I know what I want to major in, and I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to say I was naive, but as something I've been saying a lot lately, which shout out to my roommate, because she's kind of the reason why I use this now, but I like to say the future is fluid. 4 years later, from high school basically, I am kind of in this back and forth with myself where I'm not really too sure what to do right now, but I do have plans. So that's what's pushing me through this right now. The only thing that does maybe scare me a little is I'm not too sure how far away that is. I always grew up wanting to be a veterinarian, and school's rough, Again, I'm graduating, si Dios quiere, in May of this year, so wow, I didn't realize how close that was, like in like a little less than like 3 months. Yeah. With my biology degree, which is really cool, but I don't think veterinary school is within my reach at the moment, and that's scary. I remember having a talk back like freshman year with this other alumni from my school, who's in the same like program that I'm in that helped me get my scholarship to college, and she basically told us not everything is set in stone, and plans don't always go through, and that's okay, because you're gonna be able to get through this, but you just gotta make sure to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. And I remember her talking with me, and I was like, I want to be a veterinarian. And she was like, okay, what if that doesn't work? I was like, well, I know I want to work with animals, so maybe I'll work at like an aquarium. And she's like, what if that doesn't work? And I was like, well, then I guess I'll go to the zoo. And what if that doesn't work? And she kind of just got to me with that, to the point where I was just like, I don't know. Like, those are already the backups to my backup. So I don't know what else you want me to say. And she was like, yeah, you need to have backups. And at the time I was like, that's a lot that you're putting on me freshman year. But it honestly is such good advice. Plans don't always fall through. And, your goals aren't always within reach with the way that you originally thought they would be. And that's okay, because it's not the end of the world. right? You, at the end of the day, you're getting your stuff done. You're going to do what you want to do. And God will guide us towards the right path and achieve what is necessary for us to push through with life and live as happily as possible. I know this is definitely a thing that a lot of people go through. I think it's really important to be able to come to terms with the future being fluid and understanding that it's okay to feel a little lost at times, but it's also important to remember that you're not alone in this and you will get through this. Like I said earlier, I am majoring in biology. My main plan has always been to work with animals, and that is something that definitely I still want to do, for sure. Again, gender is fluid also, but the future is fluid. I really do like animal behavior. That's definitely something I would want to do. I am looking at jobs, and there is a lot, and it's scary to make a decision, and that leads us to being really indecisive with what we want to do. And there's so many other things that I want to do still, and then like I also want to go back to school and possibly get my master's degree. And again, I don't know if I want to do that here in my college town, back home, maybe even somewhere else. I don't know. It's a lot to take into consideration, and I think just the idea that there's so many different routes that I can go is a little terrifying to process, because I feel like, what if I make the wrong decision? And what if I end up doing something that I don't feel fulfilled with and I'm not satisfied with, and I'm just like, okay, well, why did I spend 4 years on all of this just to be at like a dead-end job that I don't enjoy? And that's really terrifying. But I want to continue with a growth mindset and, of course, being an optimist, because I like to be as optimistic as possible with anything in life. Of course, you know, it's good to be real, you know, be realistic with your options. And I think that's something that I really struggled with, especially in college, with, you know, swerving around being an optimist to being realistic. Being like, hey, this specific pathway and like goal that you had in mind, you know, all the way back then isn't working for you right now. What's your backup? And I'm like, oh shoot, so that is gonna like actually come into play. And it's just like, yeah, like, what are you doing? Time's running out. You know, you gotta do something or else you're gonna feel like a complete failure. And I don't want to feel like that. On the bright side, I will again, si Dios quiere, be the first of my siblings to graduate from college, which I think is a huge accomplishment within itself, just because I'm the technically third oldest of my family and the oldest girl. Whereas I was like, oh, why have these two people in front of me? I have, you know, my two older brothers, and I'm like, well, they're gonna go to college, and like, let's see how it works for them. And then like one of them drops out, and then a couple years later so does the other, and I'm like, guys, you just left me to take this all on my own? I'm like, wait, this isn't what I planned. And again, that goes back to me saying the future is so fluid. You know, not everything is gonna work out the way that you had originally thought. And again, realizing that and actually being in that specific situation can be so scary to like actually like take in. It's kind of like if you've ever heard an older sibling talk about how, you know, they're the first one to have to go through this, and you know, they don't have an older sibling to rely on. You know, they kind of have to be the example, quote unquote. It's like, oh, for someone who, for example, is like the younger child, or, you know, just not like very top of that sibling list, they're like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, I see you have a little bit of pressure, but like, so what? I'm basically kind of like an older child now. My mom did graduate, my father didn't. My father also dropped out like within his like first year. And again, I've talked with them a lot, you know, and it's always been a topic, especially with my mom, who was the first to graduate. Basically, I believe in our family. Shout out mommy. But she kind of had to do that all on her own, and my parents have always pushed on us, education is so important, and especially with me also coming from a migrant background and my father being a migrant worker like his whole life. He's been like, you don't want to work in the fields. I'm basically putting myself through all of this like stress and hard work and being out in the sun and being away from you guys for like half of the year so that you guys can have a better life. And getting a little emotional, sorry. He sacrificed a lot. So did my mom. Sorry. I'm very grateful for all the sacrifices they've made for us, and one of my number one goals in life is to make them proud. I feel like it's such like a simple, basic like thing to say or to set as like a goal. Not saying that I don't want to make myself proud, because yes, obviously I am my number one priority. I feel like your own happiness has to come before anybody else's, because if you aren't happy with your own life, how can someone else make you be happy? You have to set that standard for yourself, and you have to set your own expectations. I have done everything keeping that in mind, going to my dream college, with, like full paid tuition, only like worrying about rent, which is like a whole other thing. But also just remembering where I came from, humble beginnings and all of that stuff. And not saying I'm like banking now, because I literally only have like $24 in the bank, and that's going towards my food for the rest of this week. And as for any extra income I'm getting, we'll see. But one of my number one goals in life, aside from fulfilling my own goals, is to make my family proud and make them realize that, hey, all of their sacrifices weren't for nothing, because again, they sacrificed a lot for us to live as privileged of a lifestyle and as happy and stable of a life as possible, to not repeat their mistakes, and to make a difference in our family and pave a new path of academia and respect and education, and just like overall just a different life that isn't gonna be just working in the field all day or relying on someone else to make you happy. Being given the privilege and opportunity to be the first to graduate from college, and again show that, hey, my parents' sacrifices weren't all in vain. I think it's just really scary to be like, I graduated, now what? Do I go back home and just work again at like a job, or like am I actually gonna have a shoe-in at like specific places that I would like to work at? And I've also heard that sometimes getting into the work field after graduation can be tough, and that goes without saying. I think anything is like that. Basically, it's gonna be a little rough, and it just makes me think like, okay, did I do enough to be successful, future-wise? Did I, make something that I can feel happy with? Did I make a change at all? I guess just like answering the question, hey, was college actually worth it? Which I'd like to think, yes. That's my, again, optimist attitude, and getting your education is so important. Truly, truly important. And I'm grateful enough to be given this opportunity to further my education, academically. But it's just scary to think, like, which, again, I hate saying this, and I really don't believe it's the case. But again, sometimes I overthink, and it's just like, hey, did you go for college for nothing? Did you go to college for nothing? Like, did you spend all this time like thinking you would be amazing in the future, and then like it all just led to nothing. You did all of this to make your parents proud. What if you don't even make them proud? What if they're even more disappointed in you that you couldn't actually do what you had originally thought? I don't know. It's definitely a lot to think about. I just want to say it's like a note again for my future self, for myself now, for anybody who may be going through the same thing as me, or is just watching this, because everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I'm proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself for getting through all the hardships and adversities that you may have faced to get to where you're at today, because not a lot of people can do that. And the fact that you're still here standing says a lot about the kind of person that you are and how your strength is resilient, and you can go on to achieve amazing things as long as you put your mind to it and put in the effort that's necessary to get you to that side of place. But yeah, that's kind of my small rant that I wanted to get off my chest. I do feel a little better, if I'm gonna be honest, kind of getting it out there. But again, if you're someone who may be experiencing this, just know you're not alone. It's tough sometimes, and thinking about this stuff can be really scary. I am grateful to say, once again, I'm still here, you're still here, and that's something that you should be very proud of. And even if there's small slip-ups, along the road, you're gonna get through it. Believe in yourself, and if no one has told you, I believe in you, and I'm very proud of you. So I hope that means something. I'll probably go to sleep soon, because it is now 2:50 in the morning, and this is one of the only weekends where I really don't have much to do, and I've just been making bracelets. I don't have any on me right now, they're kind of under my bed, but maybe I'll show a picture. Checking back in real quick to let you know, I literally, right after I finished filming, found my little bracelets. Let me see if I can do the flashlight on that so you guys can see. But look, these are my little bracelets. Please say they're nice. I spent literally hours on it. Yeah. Let me know if you want one. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my rant. Feel free to share your own worries, doubts. It's just good to get it off your chest. If you feel comfortable sharing that, feel free to share it. If not, that's also okay. You don't have to share it publicly. In this whole internet space. But maybe share it with someone that you trust. Maybe that's a friend, a parent, anyone. Maybe even just like a diary. A diary is always really good too, because it's gonna help you go a long way, truly. I will put my glasses on now. I can see again. Nice. And I'll see you guys later, maybe. Yeah. Bye.